Hello YouTube. Today I'll be showing you an Acheron Mammoth Slayer guide. So the requirement for this is you need 96 Slayer. They're located in the Mammoth Iceberg, and so the only way to get there is from the Fremnik boat. So just go directly north of the lodestone, and then board the boat to your left. Alright, so I'm gonna get into the mechanics. Now they can hit very hard, but they have a very high HP, so you should be able to soul split back some of the damage. Their main attack style is melee, and they can also use melee abilities, which can hit around 2k damage. They also use freedom whenever they get stunned, but don't worry, their freedom won't clear any bleeds though. They also disable prayers, and so usually at the start of the battle, they'll use this smash ability, which will disable prayers for 5 seconds. They also have a powerful range attack, and so basically what it does is they delay for a few seconds and try to form a blue snowball on its tusks. And then they'll try to throw it in the air, and it'll hit up to 4k damage. Now the armor will not block this damage, but protect from range can reduce this however. You can also avoid this by actually moving 1 or 2 squares as soon as it starts forming a snowball. Then they also have a powerful melee charge attack, and the blue bar starts appearing on top of its head. Now at first, the mammoth will stand still, and then when the bar fills up, it'll start charging and running over you. Now this can deal an incredible amount of damage, and like at least 8k damage. Protect from melee can decrease this damage to like up to 2k or less. They will charge up to 3 times before they go back to their normal attacks. And while their bar is still up, they can still use the range attack, so you gotta be aware of that just in case. Now moving out of melee distance also disables your prayers completely for a few seconds. They'll throw 3 chunks of snowballs at you instead of 1. And so this is why you want to use melee here. They can also stun you if you're not using melee. For my equipment setup, I have a Drygore Rapier, and this is because they're weak to stab attacks. The perk I would suggest bringing is Aftershock 3, but it's pretty optional anyways, as you're not going to really AoE them. Then I bring any offhand Drygore weapon, and it has Precise 5 on it. I would wear Bandos or Torva Plate Body, and the perks I have are Enhanced Devoted 3 and Crackling 3. This basically protects more damage from Enhanced Devoted. Then I have Bandos Plate Legs, and the perks I have are Genocidal and Biting 2 plus Mobile. Then I have Bandos Gloves and Bandos Boots. Alternatively, you can use Silverhawk Boots for Agility XP. Then I have Surgeon's Ring, but otherwise you can bring Luck of the Dwarves if you don't mind. Now Souls would be more realistic because it's better defensively. And I've tried Zealots here, but you actually take a lot more damage. And I actually died a couple of times, so it's not really realistic for beginners especially. Otherwise, if you don't have either of those amulets, then just use Blood Amulet. Then I have Scrimshaw Vampirism, and that's highly important because this is your main healing source. Then I bring Vampirism or Penance Aura, which is basically for extra healing. And finally I have Elf City Quiver, and that is for prayer bonus. For my inventory setup, I bring Holy Overloads, Weapon Poison ++, a few replenishment potions, a few prayer potions, and I also bring some food just in case. Then I have Spring Cleaner and Alch Runes, because they do drop a lot of alchable items. I have Ring of Vigor and Enhanced Excalibur, which can be used for an extra healing source. Then I bring Bone Crusher and Charming Imp, which are both in my tool belt. And finally, I have a legendary pet. And you can actually bring Steel Titan instead for DPS, but the auto loot does really add up pretty nicely in terms of profit. So the prayers I'm using is Turmoil or the tier 99 prayer. Now the main overhead prayer I would use is Deflect Melee, because this is usually what they attack with, either when they're trying to charge at you, or when they're just doing their regular or ability-based attacks. And then Deflect Range if you cannot move out of the way from the blue snowball. And then finally I use Soul Split, because sometimes they can disable protection prayers. So here's my action bar. I'm using a dual wield melee action bar. So basically just follow the basic abilities for Revolution, and make sure you manually cancel Fury. So in order to do that, you want to queue another ability immediately after you hit Fury. Then I have Tuska's Wrath on the side, because it does really high damage. Now Bladed Dive is also another ability that helps here, but I hate Shattered Worlds, so I didn't actually bother having it. For thresholds, my main two thresholds are Assault and Destroy. Slaughter and Blood Tendrils are great secondary thresholds. Then the only ultimate I use is Berserk. Now you want to be careful of this in case they do their special attacks. Alright, so I'm going to get into the strategy. So you want to fight these one-on-one, and make sure you turn your auto retaliate off. So first, you want to use Deflect Melee as your main prayer. Now always watch what they're doing. If you see a blue snowball, move 1 or 2 squares or just step underneath them. And while you're moving, you want to manually press an ability, because this allows you to queue an ability while you're moving. Now if you're using a comboed ability, then you're going to have to switch to Deflect Range, or otherwise you're going to cancel your attack. If you see a blue bar, or when they're preparing to charge, you want to flick to Deflect Melee, or else you'll be hit at least 4k damage. Now if your protection prayers are disabled, then just use Soul Split. And yeah, barging really helps move between each kill. So when you're using Berserk, use Replenishment Potion, because that way you can build up to thresholds faster. And try to only Zerk when you're at higher HP, because they can hit really hard while Zerking. I actually died a few times previously while Zerking, so you're just mostly prayer flicking here. So to sum it up, they do a lot of damage, so sometimes you might end up having very little HP, but you can just heal back your HP while you're DPSing them. So here are the drops. The drops are quite decent, and you can mostly expect noted resources. Occasionally you can get a Mammoth Tusk, which is for the Pack Mammoth pouch. It's an uncommon drop, and I actually got fairly lucky with this task. I got 3 of them. I think you should probably expect 2 of them every task. The profit per hour is around 3.5 mil, and this is factoring in the cost of scrimshaws. The Crimson and Blue Charm drop rate is actually pretty okay here, but I'm not sure how many you can get every hour. So overall in 19 minutes, I killed 47 Mammoths. This basically equates to 145 kills per hour, 580k Slayer XP per hour, and 370k melee XP per hour. So really, it's amazing for Slayer XP, but it's actually terrible for combat XP. Now because of the mechanics, the kill speed really varies, and yeah, they have quite high HP, so if you get lucky you can kill them pretty fast, while other times it just takes a really long time to get 1 kill. So yeah, thanks for watching and I hope it helps. If I missed anything, feel free to ask.